10 ways She-Hulk comics have aged poorly. I know. You're like, another She-Hulk video? Jesus, would you just release your review of episode 5, E-Tap? And I'm like, look, I haven't even seen episode 5 yet. I'm going to watch it as soon as I'm done recording and editing this video, and my dog's done barking upstairs and making me redo takes in this video, which I probably won't reshoot anyway. Unless she just doesn't stop barking. But then again, here we are. So with decades of stories behind her, there are some moments from She-Hulk's past that have aged like milk. This by Mayra Garcia came out a couple days ago, and I read through this list, and I haven't read a lot of these comics. You know, I've maybe glossed over some of them online, but I wanted to talk about this list because it's hilarious. And let's take a look at our writer here first, because this is important to do. You need to know who is writing the articles for CBR, this garbage tier shill site CBR. Mayra Garcia is a comics list writer. Her main in linguistics, superheroes, and food. She's published 318 articles. I want to see the Twitter bio. Is that bad? I want to see the Twitter bio. I don't... I'm finding it hard to believe that with some of the stuff, the way it's worded in this article, that she's not either pronouns or, you know, feminist of some sort. You know, not a true feminist, but an intersectional, insane misandrist, I should call them. Here we go. Now, keep in mind, folks, that, you know, She-Hulk, the best run is the John Byrne run, the most popular since Jennifer Walters debuted as She-Hulk and Stan Lee and John Buscema's The Savage She-Hulk #1 in 1980. The world has changed plenty. This explains why some of her comics include things that definitely aged like milk. From terrifying sexual innuendo, the wording, okay, terrifying sexual innuendos, to two-dimensional and boring villains that went nowhere. Marvel would like fans to forget some things from Shulky's comics. Apparently they want you to forget that she's a woman and she was supposed to be a bombshell and sexy, flirty, still empowered, but not a misandrous intersectional cow. Apparently they want you to forget that.
Just forget it.
Some of these poorly aged characters and plots actually had a point at the time, but others, like John Byrne's Cliff jokes, here we go, were particularly unnecessary. Comics were aimed at men, you know, boys, who don't need feminist lectures in a fucking comic book. And remember...
And if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
Nobody did. And then the fat intersectional heifer Kelly Sue DeConnick was crying about how mainstream comics were failing. Fortunately, She-Hulk comics have been actively changing since those kinds of misogynistic jokes were socially acceptable. But they will forever be connected to the first runs of the Jade Giantess. Oh no, oh my, oh god. Anyway, J. Jonah Jameson III and Jennifer had a terrible relationship. Dan Slott. Okay, Dan Slott's got me blocked on Twitter. This guy's an insane fucking leftist. He's a cunt. His run, I'm sure this run was probably garbage anyway. Slott's 2004 run on She-Hulk saw Jennifer Walters allegedly fall in love with J. Jonah Jameson III and elope with him after Star Fox used his powers on her. When She-Hulk realized what had happened, she abandoned Jameson, who was truly in love with her. Although they're one of Marvel's power couples, the pairing of She-Hulk and J. Jonah Jameson III never made any sense. For instance, I'm sorry, I keep calling him J. Jonah Jameson III. John Jonah Jameson III didn't like that Jennifer preferred to like She-Hulk, often trampling her boundaries in that area. Jennifer was also particularly insensitive to John when she decided to leave him. Hopefully, future comics will give her a healthier love interest. Well, she got pumped and dumped on the TV show by a male feminist. Not some, like, Giga Chad either. Dude was a male feminist, sitting there reading The Bad Feminist by Roxanne Gay, or whatever her name is. And talking about, yeah, I covered it in the last review. It was funny. It's funny to see a male feminist show their true colors in a show written by insane fucking intersectional feminist cat ladies. But let's see here. So Dan Slott wrote something that was kind of fucked up and, you know, towards a female character. He's supposed to be a feminist ally, too. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny that old Dan would make such a faux pas. Number 9, her villains were particularly lame. Let's see here. So we have this, what is this guy, Bellhead? I mean, okay. But, I mean, look at how she plays it off. You know, his name's Dr. Bong. Is this some kind of joke? The Fantastic Four and Spider-Man got Dr. Doom in their 5th issues. I get this clown. I mean, that's kind of funny, though, considering it's her. You know, that's her thing, is breaking the fourth wall. So, I mean, I don't have a problem there. You know, you give her a serious villain every now and then, yeah. But, you know, whatever. This is the thing. They're acting like you have committed this injustice against a real person. You know, I don't know. It took a while before She-Hulk took her rightful spot in Marvel history. Before this, she had to face several C-list villains like Dr. Bong, also known as Lester Verde. This villain transported She-Hulk and some kids into different realities based on TV classics from their time, like Flintstones, RoboCop, and the Three Stooges. Just because he felt TV had become an obsession for his kids. While Bong, who appeared in Byrne's sensational She-Hulk number 5, fits perfectly with She-Hulk's constant fourth wall breaking, his arc lacked a lot. It was barely entertaining. Bong's motivation was ridiculous, and he barely put up a fight. Fortunately, She-Hulk's more recent villains are way more interesting. She has that highlighted. I was hoping there was a link to something. Let's see here. So, she's insulting John Byrne's run on the villains, which, like I said, I've glossed over some of it. I haven't read most of it. I definitely don't remember Dr. Bong, but Dr. Bong. It's just funny. This is stupid. You are, like I said, you're acting like this is some great sin cast against a real person when, you know, it's She-Hulk and it's supposed to be kind of funny, and I don't know. This she's nitpicking. Oh, here we go. For a sex-positive character, she was slut-shamed a couple times. Oh my god. Oh my god. Let's see who was guilty of this transgression. I mean, okay. So slut-shaming. Let's talk about that here. You know, it's fucking hilarious. Slut-shaming, like, yes, because, you know, you can be a whore as a man or a woman, and, you know, both should be made fun of equally. I'm sorry, having a high body count on each side, I mean, it's nothing to brag. I mean, first of all, I mean, unless somebody asks you, who gives a fuck?
I don't give a fuck.
But if you're like, and I'm saying in real life, like if you're someone who is like acting like that's like normal, I don't know. I don't want to get into fucking. I don't really want to get into it. It's just fucking these people. Like what? It's a fucking comic book, not a dick, bitch. Don't take it so hard. Damn. Since she first debuted, She-Hulk has been a sex-positive character. Confident and smart, she has a very active sex life that compensates for Jennifer Walters' introversion and has had many lovers. However, her attitude towards sex is constantly criticized, often by her friends and peers. Okay? First, in She-Hulk number 16 by Dan Slott and Rick Burchett, She-Hulk was slut-shamed by Wolverine, who apparently thought she'd been sleeping with Juggernaut. Additionally, Spider-Man Human Torch number 4 by Slott and Ty Templeton shined a negative light on She-Hulk when she decided she didn't want to sleep with Johnny Storm. Does anybody else see a pattern developing, noticing all of the shit that this retarded author finds, this retarded writer, Myra, finds problematic as written by a supposed ally and woke-tard, Dan Slott? I mean, we're at number what? We're number 8. So the first 3 have, 2 out of the first 3 have been based on current shit. Oh, her sidekick was fat shamed and worried too much about her physical appearance. This is where she switched bodies with Shulky, and Shulky became the old version of the Blonde Phantom or Louise Grant. Yeah, so they made fun of her because she was too old and fat. You know, number 46, she puts on her outfit, doesn't fit into it because she's old and fat. And she couldn't change back because she didn't want to subconsciously. So, and then the writer right here. This would never happen to a male character. Oh my God. Her job as a lawyer was widely ignored. More recent runs on She-Hulk have put special attention to her job as a lawyer. For example, Charles Soule, who is a lawyer himself, wrote a series that revolved almost completely around court drama. Ugh. Dan Slott also considered this a core part of She-Hulk's life. This resulted in both runs highlighting some of She-Hulk's best legal cases. And there's nothing wrong with that, but, I mean, let's be honest. A comic book reader, you're not really looking to, spend most of your time in a courtroom. Even though a character's profession is part of their core identity, previous comics didn't take it as seriously. While Jennifer acted as a lawyer in both Savage She-Hulk and Sensational She-Hulk, this wasn't as relevant as Peter Parker's job at the Bugle or Daredevil's position as an officer in the court. It wasn't until the 21st century that it became central to her story. Well, the whole thing with Peter being a photographer and working at the Daily Bugle was Jameson constantly pressuring him to get, I want those pictures of Spider-Man! So, please, remind me where it was integral to most of the stories in Savage or Sensational She-Hulk for her to be in a courtroom for the majority of the book. I mean, tell me where that's integral, and I'll say I'm wrong. Myra. Number 5, a what if paired her romantically with Hulk. Okay, it's what if, but it's a little fucked up considering they're cousins.
I guess she's my cousin, but she needs some sweet loving anyway.
Okay, so it's basically a play on I Love Lucy. All right. Now, while I think they could have used another male character to play the, Ricky role in this Lucy-Ricky dynamic, I mean, the concept is funny, I can't say that I would have used Hulk though. That's gross. Among the weirdest what if stories, there's What If number 34, which includes What If Hulk Married the She-Hulk in I Love She-Hulk by Roger Stern and Terry Austin. Set on Earth 23884, the story has Hulk and She-Hulk as a married couple who live in an I Love Lucy-like universe. Fred, I'm thinking it was a mistake to rent to green people. Oh my God. I'm surprised she doesn't. I wonder if she says anything about that. This comic is bad enough since Jennifer and Bruce are cousins, but it's also full of sexist jokes that were par for the course at the time. It's one of Marvel's most off-putting stories that fans should let disappear into oblivion. This is somebody who would want trigger warnings put on stand-up comedy from the 70s and 80s. Because she would find it offensive. I mean, Jesus Christ. I bet you Myra is just a blast at parties. She was a two-dimensional character. This is number 4 out of 10. Anyone who's read a contemporary She-Hulk will notice the writers have made working on her character development a high priority. For instance, Mariko Tamaki made sure to convey the angst that followed her after Bruce Banner's death during Civil War II. In previous She-Hulk titles, writers didn't pay much attention to her character at all. Jennifer was quite a plain character, with very little emotional depth. Instead, these stories prioritized comedy over character development, or seemed to consider Jen a female version of her cousin Bruce. Some of She-Hulk's previous runs were hilarious, but they are also shallow by current comic standards. Alright, current comic standards in the mainstream, they're not meant to entertain you. They're a lecture. They're a 20, 30 page lecture by ideologues who want, and this is the thing, not saying that that politics don't exist in comic books, but let's be honest here. This is these kind of books right here. These weren't gender studies lectures. At least even look at, wow, here's, hang on, I'm gonna take this out of the sheet right here. This is Black Canary. This is real Black Canary. This is not diversity and inclusion 2019 female Josie Smollett. These weren't lectures. Nobody was like, nobody was, sitting back going, damn, I never thought about, how bad it is to be, a conservative. I mean, we've got X-Man. We got, Deathlock with the Punisher, Strange Tales, Cloak and Dagger, Doctor Strange. You're not getting lectures about how shitty of a person you are if you don't follow Marxist ideology in those books. You weren't. You were entertained. And was there some messaging? Absolutely. But it was written with nuance, which takes talent and intelligence, is something guys like Dan Slott don't have. As does, this Myra, the writer of this article. Obviously she doesn't understand nuance, subtlety, or actual humor. She's just a frivolous woman on her 30th anniversary story. To celebrate She-Hulk's 30th anniversary, Marvel reunited some of her writers, Peter David, Brian Reed, and John Byrne, to create a small anthology of stories. The first one, the SheHulk Story that's a riff on A Christmas Carol by Peter David and John Boy Myers, opens up with She-Hulk throwing a tantrum about turning 30, which is something women kind of do sometimes. Some of them do. So putting that in the book is not as problematic. This is a common joke featured in films and sitcoms. However, its ageist and sexist trope hasn't aged well. Oh my God. Men rarely suffer from this stereotype. Yes we do. Yes we do. Yes the fuck we do. And the joke feeds the toxic idea that women lose value as they age. Turning 30 is inevitable and there's nothing wrong with it. Nobody said there is. But men don't face ageism. I don't need... Cue the fucking Brie Larson clip about 42-year-old white... Well, you know the drill. You know the story. You know what was said. So please, I don't need 40-year-old white men with unwashed asses opinions. Says the fucking... the fat intersectional feminist with half her head shaved, a bull ring in her nose, and a fucking resist tattoo that's spelled wrong. Burns' run starts with her saying she isn't as strong as the Hulk. Well, she's not. So that's problematic. Let's see what Myra thinks, because Myra is fucking smart. As it always happens with similar superheroes, fans can't help but compare, especially when one of them is a woman. She-Hulk's been compared to Hulk since she first debuted, but now, as of 2022, fans know there isn't really a competition. Sometimes Hulk is better, sometimes She-Hulk is. This was very different in the past. As a character created to protect their copyright, Marvel didn't take She-Hulk seriously. Instead, they made sure to nerf her almost immediately. John Byrne's 1989 sensational She-Hulk #1 includes a panel where Jennifer herself clarifies she isn't as incredible as her cousin. This bizarre compulsion to put She-Hulk down to protect Hulk's brand was completely unnecessary.
That's incredible.
What? This is a miserable fucking heifer, this Myra. Seriously. This bitch is miserable. God, just... Cunt. She was often sexualized by John Byrne. She was meant to be. She was fucking meant to be sexualized. What the fuck? Like, okay, notice it's always ugly. It's always ugly people who have a problem with attractive people. All right, let's be honest. Let's be honest, Myra. You're not a 10, darling. I'm not saying I am, but I'm a goddamn handsome man, and I know it, and I got the receipts to back that up. Anyway, this right here. All right, so we're complaining about sexualizing She-Hulk, a character that was meant to be sexy, flirty, a bombshell. I've said it a million fucking times. She has a very active dating and sex life. Oh God, please don't sexualize this beautiful woman. If she does it herself, it's okay. But if you do it, you're a fucking bigot. You're a sexist. You hate women. You're afraid of women. You're an incel. You live in your mother's basement. You're a neckbeard. Yada, yada, yada. All right. This is insecure fat speak. This is insecure. I'm fat, dumpy. My ovaries are dried up. I can't have kids. And I eat a fucking pound of ice cream every night while I cry softly into it as I'm surrounded by 40 fucking cats. And my apartment smells like sweat, shame, and regret. That's who says shit like this, all right? Let's be honest. I don't give a fuck if it hurts. It's honesty, all right? Probably the most concerning, there's use of this it's concerning. Part of She-Hulk's old runs is rampant sexism that cast her as a victim. Byrne's run is full of sexual, not always consensual, innuendos that played on the fact that the author was in control of the character. The author is in control of the character, you fucking dolt. It's a comic book. The author is in control of the character. The character's agency rests only in the hands of the author. This is a little weird on her part. This is a weird flex, but okay. The jokes combined perfectly with her hyper-sexualized She-Hulk, who was always running around half naked with accidentally ripping through her clothes, functioning as the go-to excuse. In a time and age where women fight to be seen as people and not as objects to lust over, sensational She-Hulk doesn't make the cut. Holy fucking shit! Who fucking looks at women as objects? You know what? Let's wrap this up. So let's be honest, most of the problems on this list have to do with coming from a perspective of not wanting to see this character sexualized, be fun, or any of the things that she was intended to be in her initial run. Were there some issues with character development? Yes. But do I think they fixed that through other means? Yes. They didn't need to make her cringeworthy and bitchy. But that's all I got, gang. Let me know what you think of the character in the comics, the Byrne run, and what you think of this list more or less. I thought it was garbage, but I mean, that's what you get when you have writers that write for CBR and consider themselves to be writers in the first place with literally no credentials other than owning 40 cats and eating 2 pounds of Haagen-Dazs every time they feel sad because they realized how poorly their lives have turned out. Hit that subscribe button if you have not. Ding the bell for notifications. You can join if you want. If not, enjoy the content. It's free. We appreciate everybody helping the channel through retweets, likes, shares, things like that. I'm Etepel Kuyin of the Place to Be Reviews. I've been here with all of you. If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow, and I'll catch you on the next one.
It's better to burn out than to fade away.
I could do this all